Many say it's a youth-led movement, but people of all ages showed up in Rome on Saturday. They're calling for more humanity and less racism in Italian politics. It's only been a month since the Sardine Movement was spawned, but this weekend tens of thousands assembled from around the country. They gathered in Piazza San Giovanni, a traditional rallying spot for left-wing demonstrations.
We certainly have values much closer to the left than to the right, but I believe that at this stage, with the supremacist populist front so powerful and impetuous, a progressive front is much more necessary than a left front.
Their concern? Widespread support for this man, Matteo Salvini, right-wing populist leader of the League, currently Italy's biggest political party. They may win a historic victory in regional elections next month.
It's not being against Salvini as a person. To Salvini, to the League, to any other force which behaves unacceptably and uses violent language, I say no. And that is why Sardines were born, to say no and to start saying yes again.
They're also singing Bella Ciao, an old partisan song. It's now the anthem of Italian anti-fascism.
Dima, this new protest movement is only a few weeks old. How did it emerge and why?
Well, essentially, it's a grassroots movement, if you like. You had these 4 young Italians. They're all in their 30s. They were meeting over dinner last month and talking about how they were just fed up of the nationalistic tone that was in the political discourse in the country, particularly that leader you mentioned, Matteo Salvini, the rhetoric of hate as well as anti-immigrant sentiment, and they were fed up of it, and they wanted to see whether they could get all the people who felt similarly as them together in a piazza in Bologna, which is where they were, in order to express this idea that they were for the values of tolerance and moderation. Now, initially, they thought maybe some 6,000 or so people would turn up. Instead, 15,000 turned up. And from there, we've seen similar gatherings in Milan, Florence, and other cities, and today, right here in Rome.
And any idea of how popular this movement is across Italy, how much support there is from the public in general?
Well, it does seem to be gaining momentum. We've seen their support online with their various pages that they have in different platforms. But today's gathering here in Rome, the authorities have said that some 35,000 people turned up, and we saw old people, young people, children, families. There weren't just people from Rome, but other cities as well, from Florence, from Naples. They decided to turn up. A lot of them said that they very strongly in support of this message, that they wanted to show that they were fed up of the political panorama that is in Italy right now, and particularly the messages spread by Matteo Salvini. And so today we saw Piazza San Giovanni here in Italy, which is a massive piazza, packed to the brim. And the organizers say they've reached their objective. They wanted to see the piazza packed, and they want to see that this is an expression of a change of the perception of politics here in Italy.
But is there any intention to have the movement become an organized political force in the way the Five Star Movement began as a sort of protest and then became a political party now in government?
Well, the difference perhaps between this movement and the Five Star Movement is that it's not about populist ideas, and there's no leader as such in the way that the Five Star Movement had Beppe Grillo, the comedian turned politician. So in that sense, it's different. And they've very categorically, they don't want any representation of any political party. No banners, no flags of any party is allowed at any of these gatherings. But I think a lot of political observers as well are looking at this and wondering, will this actually result in anything, is what you asked as well. I mean, is it going to be a political party as such? And I think the key test will be in a regional election that is expected next month, and that's of the region of Emilia-Romagna, where Bologna is is located, the first spot where we saw this gathering created. This election is going to be watched because Emilia-Romagna is technically a very left-leaning region. It is all red, and are we going to see a move where it changes towards the far-right party of the League? Now, that's what Matteo Salvini has been campaigning for, and he successfully did that in the region of Umbria, in the center of Italy, which we saw in elections earlier this year, change towards the center-right party. So I think that's we're going to see whether it's just about a gathering in piazza, or is it going to translate into votes?
Okay, Seema Gupta, thanks so much for that.